person's travel to that country?
As part of evaluating whether there's an illicit relationship?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. And are you familiar that President Trump has traveled at least 3 times to Russia?
That's not something I'm going to comment on.
Are you aware that his son, Donald Trump Jr., has traveled at least 6 times to Russia?
Same answer.
Donald Trump has said a number of times that he has had nothing to do with Russia, and I want to ask you, Director, if you're familiar with Deutsche Bank and its $300 million loan to Donald Trump and his organization.
It's not something I'm going to comment on.
Director, are you aware that Deutsche Bank has been investigated and fined over $400 million by New York State for failing to stop transfer of $1 billion out of Russia?
I think generally from press accounts.
So an individual's association with the bank that has had dealings with Russian money laundering, that would be something that would be a red flag for a counterintelligence investigation, I would assume.
That's a hypo I don't want to answer.
By calling it a hypo, I guess you
Director,
answered it.
Would a U.S. business person who is associated with the foreign adversary having tenants in their office building that do business with that foreign adversary, would that be a red flag that a counterintelligence agent would look at?
Yeah, I can't answer that.
Are you aware that in Trump Tower were 2 tenants, Vadim Trincher and Anatoly Golubchik, who ran a high-stakes illegal gambling ring that was run out of Trump Tower?
Same answer.
And are you aware that the prosecutor in that case was U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara?
Same answer.
Are you aware, Director, that that U.S. Attorney was recently fired?
Yes.
By the President of the United States?
I don't know who fired him. I know from press accounts that he was asked to leave.
Director, are you aware of Felix Sater, a former Soviet official and advisor to the Trump Organization?
I'm not going to comment on that.
And Director, outside of Mr. Sater's relationship with the Trump Organization, are you aware that the FBI knew of Mr. Sater because of a $40 million stock fraud case that was prosecuted by the federal government?
Same answer.
Director, would a U.S. person having multiple trademarks, in addition to the other relationships that I just described, be a red flag for a counterintelligence investigation if those trademarks were in Russia?
Multiple trademark?
Yeah, registering trademarks in a foreign adversary's country.
I don't know what to make of that.
Okay. Were you aware that Donald Trump had 6 trademarks in Russia?
Not going to comment on that.
Were you aware that Donald Trump tried to market his Trump vodka brand in Russia?
Same answer.
Wow.
Were you aware that Donald Trump ran Miss Universe 2013 out of Moscow?
Same answer.
Are you aware that Donald Trump Jr. said on a number of occasions that Russian money is pouring into the Trump Organization and that there's a disproportionate cross-section of the company's revenue coming from Russian money?
Same answer, Mr. Swalwell.
So hypothetically speaking, though, would a foreign adversary and its oligarchs having a disproportionate cross-section of a company's revenue coming from that country be a red flag for a counterintelligence agent?
I'm trying to be helpful, but I'm not going to answer.
I understand.
Kind of hypo.
Thank you, Director. Director, are you familiar with a 2004 home purchase by President Trump in Palm Beach County for about $40 million?
Not going to comment on that.
Are you familiar with a 2008 sale of that same property for a 129% increase at about $98 million?
Same answer.
Are you aware that the buyer in 2008 was a Russian businessman?
Same answer.
And under the earlier hypothetical, would a foreign adversary's oligarch purchasing a home in the United States for 129% more than the home was purchased 4 years before, would that be a tool that a foreign adversary would use to try and recruit, develop, or bring somebody onto their side?
Same answer as before.
You said that it's likely or somebody should assume they're being surveilled when they were in Russia. Would you assume that Donald Trump was being surveilled in 2013 when he was in Moscow?
I'm not going to answer. I was trying to confine my answer to prominent people should assume, not students and all those people who might go there for a brief holiday. I don't think I'd ask them to assume that.
Right. Would it be safe to say that if Donald Trump was doing something he shouldn't have been doing while he was in Russia, the Russians probably saw it?
Same answer as before.
Would it be safe to assume that if a prominent person was doing something they shouldn't have been